Hi, everyone, and welcome back to ITG Spotlight, where we take a closer look at the incredible people and stories shaping ITG. Today, we're joined by Josh Broder, a business developer and principal consultant for ITG. Josh brings over 2 decades of experience in telecom, beginning in the U.S. Army Signal Corps, where he built and led network teams around the world. He later served as CEO of Tilson until 2023. Tilson was acquired by ITG earlier this year. Nowadays, in addition to serving on the boards of several telecom and energy companies, he plays a role in the consulting practice and business development across all lines of business. Josh, it's a pleasure to have you here today.
Hey, good morning, Isabella. Great to be here.
Good morning. Your journey in telecom is incredible, from starting in the Army Signal Corps to leading Tilson and now serving as principal consultant at ITG. When you look back at your trajectory, how does it feel seeing how far you've come?
It's been a terrific career, and one of the ITG things you hear said at ITG as we were techs, and I started as a tech in the Army Signal Corps, and eventually led large teams that got to deploy and design, build, maintain, operate networks globally, and so coming back to the United States in the early 2000s and being able to apply what I had learned as a tech and then as a leader in deploying commercial networks was really the pleasure of a lifetime in my career. And so over the last really 17 or 18 years, I've been focused on consulting and supporting telecom organizations make informed and thoughtful decisions as they figure out how to deploy the technologies that help them innovate and deliver. And it's been super rewarding to be with organizations as they've gotten to evolve through these different phases of technology deployment.
Tilson has long been recognized for its technical expertise and consulting leadership. With ITG's acquisition of Tilson, what new capabilities or strengths are being brought to the ITG family?
So one of the things that I think is really exciting about the transaction was the addition of consulting and analytical services that come before big capital projects. And so ITG is well known nationally as a leader in design, build, fulfillment, maintenance, damage prevention, and really all the things in the life cycle of a network. And so what the Tilson acquisition brought ITG, was really the ability, in addition to scaling some of those capabilities in other markets around the country, was really around the ability to consult on these projects well before they enter, their capital deployment phase. And so when I think about, what does consulting mean, it means asking the big questions. Where should we invest? How should we invest? What is the commercial tension in the markets we want to make investments in? But also tactically and from a design and engineering perspective, to understand what are things really going to cost? What are the critical paths to getting the necessary approvals to get these networks deployed?
You are now working in ITG's consulting practice. For those who may not be familiar, what types of customers does the consulting team serve, and what challenges are we helping them solve?
There's really two kinds of customers. One group I would describe as private investors. So these would be generally private equity or infrastructure funds or the debt that supports them, trying to make good decisions about where to invest their capital in technology projects. And so it would be very common for this consulting team, the ITG consulting team, to help those organizations evaluate the technical sufficiency, the cost models, the inputs, the commercial and competitive aspects of an investment prior to the investment being made. The other category of customer where the work is actually quite similar, but with different potential outcomes and objectives, are public instrumentalities like state broadband agencies that are looking to evaluate, plan, construct, and then run subsidy programs for technology projects. And so in the same vein as that first group of private market customers that the consulting team would support, these public agencies have similar questions around technology and investment and decision making around where to best make those investments, and how to do it in the most responsible way. And so the consulting team you would think of as having both private customers investing capital and public instrumentalities investing capital in various kinds of technology projects.
With Tilson now a part of ITG, what kinds of new or expanded services can we offer that will really set us apart in the market?
I think this is what is most exciting is, in addition to ITG's strong, field services to be able to design, build, and maintain networks and provide, all of the pieces along the, end customer journey of receiving, service over a network. With a consulting group, ITG can support its customers and its customers' investors way upstream in terms of helping them decide where to make the best investments and whether an investment is prudent, how to select the right technologies and approaches and techniques. Once we come back with answers as consultants, the question often is, okay, now that you've told us that these are likely to be the costs and the commercial outcomes, can you help us in driving those outcomes? Can you help us in actually getting entitlements and permits and franchises in place to be able to execute those programs? Can you actually build those networks? Sometimes a customer wants a totally independent view of these things, and the fact that we can do them in actuality on the ground helps inform what those cost models look like and bring like a high level of realism to them, whether we build them or not. And other times customers say, okay, like in addition to the the thought leadership and the analytical approach on it, where we also need some implementation support. And if you think that's what it costs, come show us.
And finally, for someone who's interested in entering the consulting world, especially within telecom, what advice would you give?
So in the consulting practice, we tend to hire very senior professionals with a long background in telecom, in engineering, in data centers, in the kinds of technologies that we consult on. And so we're looking for people who are late in their careers, folks who have really learned and know their work, and have, in addition to that deep technical or commercial expertise, have like deeply analytical intelligence, have critical thinking and challenge the assumptions that are put in front of them, and can effectively communicate with clients and stakeholders, not just in the way they interact interpersonally, but can, write well. And I'm not talking about just using, ChatGPT to write well, but really can think about how to make, a persuasive argument, can offer, a strong opinion, but also deliver minority reports. Someone who can back up the statements that they make and have, a strong, basis in fact and research to support the assumptions that they come to. And so for folks who really want to make an impact, who are in a phase of their career where they may be able to give back by sharing what they know with others and solving like really difficult problems, and also have that analytical and critical thinking skill set, consulting might just be for them. We do hire some junior people into consulting. And when we hire junior people into consulting, they tend to come into it from a financial analytical standpoint. Like every single consulting project winds up having a cost model, for example. And it's not unusual for us to, hire analysts who can look at either specific technical or financial areas. And so there are some like early and mid-career lateral positions that people can move into that are quite interesting there as well.
Josh, thank you so much for joining us today and sharing your story. It's truly inspiring to see how your journey from building networks in the field to shaping ITG's consulting strategy that continues to drive our company's growth and innovation. And to everyone watching, thank you for tuning in to the ITG Spotlight. Stay tuned for more stories from the people that make ITG one team and one mission.
Thanks, Isabella. It's fun to be here.
Thank you.